While the world frantically debates alpha versus beta dynamics, there's a third archetype that's been quietly revolutionizing how we understand masculine success. And most people don't even know they exist. Picture this: while others are fighting for the spotlight, demanding attention and desperately seeking validation, there's a man in the corner of the room who's already mapped out everyone's psychological patterns, identified 3 business opportunities, and planned his exit strategy. He's not antisocial, he's strategically selective. He's not hiding, he's operating from a position of calculated invisibility. This is the Sigma male reality, and if you've ever felt like you don't fit into traditional masculine categories, if you've ever found power in your independence rather than in dominance over others, then you're about to discover why the world is finally trying to catch up to what you've known all along. The Sigma doesn't need to announce his presence. His results speak louder than any roar. Today, we're diving deep into the 6 core pillars that make Sigma males not just different, but evolutionary, ahead of the pack. While society is still trying to understand them, Sigmas are already implementing strategies that won't become mainstream for another decade. If you're ready to understand the true nature of strategic masculinity, hit that subscribe button, because this channel is the only place you'll get authentic Sigma insights without the Hollywood fantasy or the basement-dwelling stereotypes. Let's decode the Sigma blueprint. 1. The invisible architect. The Sigma male operates like a master architect designing a skyscraper. But here's the twist: nobody sees the blueprints, nobody witnesses the construction, and by the time the building stands complete, everyone assumes it appeared overnight. This is the essence of the invisible architect, creating massive impact while remaining strategically undetected by the mainstream radar. Think about the most successful entrepreneurs you know. Not the flashy ones on magazine covers, but the ones who built billion-dollar companies while maintaining complete privacy. Take WhatsApp's founder Brian Acton, who worked quietly for years, got rejected by Facebook and Twitter, then built a messaging platform that Facebook eventually bought for $19 billion. No flashy launches, no social media campaigns, no seeking validation. Just pure focus on solving a problem better than anyone else. The invisible architect understands a fundamental truth that escapes most men. Visibility is often inversely related to true power. While alphas fight for the spotlight and betas seek approval, the Sigma builds infrastructure. He doesn't create content, he creates the platforms that others use to create content. He doesn't chase trends. He identifies the underlying patterns that generate trends and positions himself accordingly. This architectural mindset manifests in 3 distinct phases. First, the reconnaissance phase, where the Sigma male studies existing systems with surgical precision. He's not just observing what people do, he's analyzing why they do it, what psychological triggers drive their behavior, and where the inefficiencies lie. A Sigma entering a new industry doesn't start by networking or announcing his presence. He studies the ecosystem for months, identifying power structures, communication patterns, and unmet needs. The second phase is strategic positioning. The Sigma doesn't compete directly with existing players because direct competition requires visibility, and visibility attracts unnecessary attention and resistance. Instead, he finds the gaps between established territories. While others fight over market share in saturated spaces, the Sigma creates entirely new categories. Consider how Netflix didn't compete with Blockbuster on their terms. They built a completely different infrastructure that made physical rental stores obsolete. The final phase is systematic execution. This is where the Sigma's patient preparation pays dividends. While others struggle with implementation because they skipped the groundwork, the Sigma's execution appears effortless because he's already solved every major obstacle in advance. His success seems sudden to outsiders, but it's actually the result of methodical preparation that nobody witnessed. The invisible architect also masters the art of indirect influence. Traditional leadership models focus on direct authority, giving orders, managing teams, controlling outcomes. The Sigma achieves influence through system design. He creates frameworks that naturally guide people toward optimal decisions without them realizing they're being guided. It's like designing a city where the most convenient path happens to be the most beneficial one. Take someone like Satoshi Nakamoto, Bitcoin's mysterious creator. Instead of trying to convince the world that cryptocurrency was the future, he simply built an elegant system and released it into the wild. No marketing campaigns, no media interviews, no attempts to control adoption. The system itself was so well designed that it attracted the exact type of early adopters who would develop and promote it organically. This is invisible architecture at its finest, creating something so fundamentally sound that it spreads based on merit rather than promotion. The Sigma's architectural approach extends to personal relationships as well. Instead of trying to manage or control people, he designs interactions that naturally bring out the best in others. He doesn't network, he creates value-generating connections. He doesn't build teams, he establishes ecosystems where talented people want to contribute. When conflicts arise, he doesn't engage in direct confrontation. Instead, he restructures the environment to eliminate the underlying source of friction. This invisible operation requires a specific psychological framework. The Sigma must derive satisfaction from results rather than recognition. His ego is tied to the elegance of his systems, not to public acknowledgement of his role in creating them. This is perhaps the most difficult aspect for other personality types to understand. In a culture obsessed with personal branding and social media presence, the idea of achieving massive success while remaining anonymous seems counterintuitive. But there's profound strategic wisdom in invisibility. Visible leaders become targets for criticism, competition, regulation, and manipulation. The invisible architect operates below the radar of these threats. By the time competitors realize what he's built, he's already moved on to the next project. By the time regulators understand his approach, he's evolved beyond their current framework. By the time the media discovers his story, he's implemented systems that function independently of his personal involvement. The invisible architect also understands that true power lies in optionality rather than position. Traditional masculine archetypes seek to climb hierarchies and accumulate titles. The Sigma creates multiple revenue streams, develops diverse skill sets, and maintains strategic flexibility. He's not tied to any single industry, company, or geographic location. His architecture is modular and transferable. This approach requires exceptional delayed gratification and strategic thinking. While others seek immediate validation and quick wins, the invisible architect is comfortable with years of preparation before seeing results. He invests in learning systems that others consider boring or irrelevant, knowing that these foundations will become crucial when market conditions shift. The modern economy increasingly rewards invisible architects. The most valuable companies today are platforms that facilitate value creation rather than creating value directly. Amazon doesn't manufacture most of what it sells. It architected the infrastructure for efficient commerce. Google doesn't create most of the content in its search results. It designed the system for organizing and accessing information. These are Sigma-style approaches scaled to massive proportions. For the individual Sigma male, this architectural mindset becomes a comprehensive life strategy. Career development happens through skill stacking rather than ladder climbing. Wealth building occurs through system creation rather than salary optimization. Relationships develop through value provision rather than status signaling. Every decision is evaluated based on its contribution to long-term strategic position rather than short-term social approval. The invisible architect represents the evolution of masculine strategy in an information-rich, rapidly changing world. Traditional approaches based on dominance and competition become less effective when the rules change constantly. The Sigma's architectural approach, building adaptable systems, maintaining strategic invisibility, and focusing on fundamental value creation, provides sustainable advantages regardless of surface-level market fluctuations. 2. Strategic solitude mastery. While society pathologizes solitude as loneliness, the Sigma male has weaponized it into his greatest strategic advantage. This isn't about being antisocial or avoiding human connection. It's about understanding that peak performance requires uninterrupted deep work, and most people are productivity vampires who drain mental energy without providing equivalent value. The Sigma's relationship with solitude operates on 3 levels. First, cognitive optimization. His brain functions differently when freed from social performance anxiety. Without the need to manage others' emotions or maintain social facades, he can allocate 100% of his mental resources to problem-solving and creative thinking. Studies show that breakthrough innovations typically happen during periods of sustained isolation, not in brainstorming sessions or networking events. Second, emotional recalibration. Solitude allows the Sigma to process experiences without external interference. While others immediately seek validation or advice when facing challenges, the Sigma retreats to analyze patterns, identify lessons, and develop solutions independently. This creates genuine confidence based on proven problem-solving ability rather than borrowed confidence from others' opinions. Third, strategic planning. The Sigma uses solitude for long-term thinking that's impossible in reactive social environments. He maps out 5-year scenarios, identifies emerging opportunities, and positions himself accordingly. While others are caught up in daily social drama, he's quietly preparing for future market shifts. Take Elon Musk's approach to innovation. He regularly retreats from social obligations to focus intensively on engineering problems. His breakthrough moments happen in isolation, not in boardrooms. The Sigma understands that solitude isn't escape from reality, it's deeper engagement with reality, minus the distractions. 3. The observer's advantage. The Sigma male has mastered the art of strategic observation, positioning himself as the chess player while others remain chess pieces. This observational advantage stems from emotional detachment. He can analyze situations objectively because he's not emotionally invested in the outcomes that drive others' decisions. Practical observation techniques include pattern recognition across multiple time frames. While others react to daily fluctuations, the Sigma identifies weekly, monthly, and yearly cycles. He notices what people do versus what they say, tracking behavioral patterns that reveal true motivations. He observes which strategies actually produce results versus which strategies get praised. The observer's advantage becomes particularly powerful in negotiation and business. While others telegraph their intentions through emotional reactions, the Sigma maintains poker face neutrality. He notices micro-expressions, voice tonality shifts, and body language tells that reveal others' psychological states. This information asymmetry provides massive leverage. Consider Warren Buffett's investment approach. He observes market behavior from an emotionally detached perspective, making rational decisions while others panic or get euphoric. The Sigma applies this same observational discipline to all areas of life, from relationship dynamics to career opportunities. 4. Emotional independence decoded. Emotional independence is the Sigma's ultimate defense against manipulation and his foundation for authentic decision-making. This doesn't mean emotional numbness, it means emotional sovereignty. The Sigma experiences emotions fully, but doesn't allow them to dictate his strategic choices. The development process involves 3 stages. First, emotional awareness. recognizing emotions as information rather than commands. Anger signals boundary violations. Fear indicates risk assessment needs. Excitement suggests opportunity recognition. Second, emotional processing. The Sigma examines emotional triggers to identify underlying patterns and belief systems that need updating. Third, emotional regulation, maintaining strategic perspective during emotional intensity. This isn't suppression, it's conscious choice about when and how to express emotions for maximum effectiveness. The Sigma might feel frustrated with incompetent colleagues, but chooses patience because anger would damage his long-term positioning. Practical applications include immunity to social pressure tactics, resistance to advertising manipulation, and protection against toxic relationships. When someone tries guilt, fear, or shame-based influence, the emotionally independent Sigma recognizes the manipulation attempt and responds from logic rather than reactive emotion. 5. Innovation through isolation. The Sigma's greatest innovations emerge from periods of complete isolation from mainstream thinking. While others innovate through collaboration and consensus building, the Sigma innovates through deep, solitary exploration of problems that others haven't even recognized yet. This isolation-based innovation follows a specific process. First, problem identification. The Sigma notices inefficiencies or pain points that others accept as normal. Second, solution exploration. Without pressure to conform to conventional approaches, he explores radical alternatives. Third, prototype development. He builds and tests solutions privately before revealing them publicly. Historical examples include Nikola Tesla's isolated laboratory work, which produced innovations decades ahead of his contemporaries. Modern examples include cryptocurrency creators, app developers, and digital entrepreneurs who solve problems through solitary coding rather than committee meetings. The Sigma's isolated innovation advantage stems from freedom from groupthink, absence of premature criticism, and unlimited experimentation time. When others are constrained by team dynamics and social approval needs, the Sigma explores possibilities that seem impossible to conventional thinking. 6. The Sigma paradox. The Sigma paradox represents the ultimate strategic positioning, being simultaneously connected and detached, influential and invisible, leading without followers. This paradoxical nature allows the Sigma to access the benefits of multiple positions without the limitations of any single approach. The paradox manifests in several dimensions. Social paradox, deeply understanding human psychology while maintaining emotional independence from social validation. Economic paradox, creating massive value while remaining largely unknown to the general public. Leadership paradox, inspiring others through example rather than authority. Practical implementation requires mastering contradictory skills, being highly social when strategic value exists while preferring solitude for optimization, displaying confidence when necessary while maintaining genuine humility, showing strength when challenged while avoiding unnecessary conflicts. The Sigma paradox becomes a meta-strategy that provides maximum flexibility and minimum vulnerability. Like quantum particles that exist in multiple states simultaneously, the Sigma can shift between approaches based on situational requirements while maintaining core identity integrity. This paradoxical positioning explains why the world struggles to understand Sigmas. They don't fit conventional categories because they've transcended the need for categorical thinking. They've created their own framework that combines the advantages of multiple approaches while avoiding the disadvantages that typically accompany each position. The Sigma male doesn't need the world to understand him. He needs the world to underestimate him. While others chase recognition, the Sigma has already built his empire in the shadows. While others seek permission, the Sigma has already innovated beyond their comprehension. While others follow trends, The Sigma creates the underlying systems that generate those trends. Understanding these 6 pillars isn't about becoming something you're not. It's about recognizing the strategic advantages you already possess and leveraging them with surgical precision. The invisible architect builds structures that outlast empires. The master of strategic solitude creates from a place of pure authenticity. The observer sees opportunities others miss entirely. The emotionally independent man cannot be manipulated or controlled. The isolated innovator develops solutions the crowd will desperately need tomorrow. And the Sigma paradox. It's the ultimate ace up the sleeve, the ability to be simultaneously connected and detached, influential and invisible, leading without followers. This is why the world is trying to understand Sigmas now, because they're starting to realize that while they were playing checkers, the Sigma was mastering chess. But here's the thing, by the time they figure out the game, the Sigma has already moved on to something entirely different. If this resonates with your experience, if you recognize yourself in this blueprint, then you need to subscribe to this channel right now. We're building a community of men who understand that true power doesn't announce itself. It simply executes. Hit that notification bell, because we're going deeper into Sigma psychology, strategy, and success principles that you won't find anywhere else. The world might be 10 steps behind, but you don't have to be.